Heart disease is the #1 killer in the world today. And the heart is a muscle. You can strengthen the heart and you can weaken the heart.
In today's video, we'll talk about 5 foods that can harm your heart, based on advice from Dr. Barbara O'Neill, an Australian expert in natural healing. Your heart is like the engine of your body, and what you eat can either help or hurt it. Some of these foods might surprise you. Watch the video till the end, and if you find it helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Food number 1, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, especially the refined and simple types, are a big part of modern diets, but they can be harmful to your heart. Refined carbs, like those found in white bread, pastries, pasta, sugary cereals, and many snacks, are heavily processed. This processing removes important fiber and nutrients, leaving behind sugar that is quickly digested by the body. When you eat these types of carbs, your body breaks them down into sugar, causing a quick spike in your blood sugar levels. To deal with this sugar, your pancreas releases a lot of insulin, a hormone that helps move sugar into your cells so it can be used for energy. However, if you eat these refined carbs often, your body can become less responsive to insulin, a condition known as insulin resistance. This leads to high blood sugar levels all the time and can eventually cause type 2 diabetes, which is a major risk factor for heart disease. When your body struggles to process all the sugar from refined carbs, it starts to store the extra sugar as fat. This fat often accumulates around your organs, especially in your belly. And this type of fat is linked to inflammation. Inflammation plays a key role in the development of a condition called atherosclerosis, where plaque builds up in your arteries, making them narrower and restricting blood flow. If this happens in the arteries that supply your heart, it can result in a heart attack. Diets high in refined carbs also tend to lack other important nutrients like fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Fiber, which is found in foods like whole grains, vegetables, and legumes, is crucial for heart health. It helps regulate blood sugar levels and promotes healthy cholesterol levels. Complex carbohydrates, like those in whole grains, are broken down more slowly by the body, preventing sudden spikes in blood sugar and reducing the risk of insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is a group of conditions, including high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and unhealthy cholesterol levels, that increases the risk of heart disease. Eating a lot of refined carbs can also raise the level of triglycerides in your blood. Triglycerides are a type of fat, and having too much of them increases your risk of heart disease. High levels of triglycerides can cause your artery walls to thicken and harden, leading to the development of atherosclerosis. Studies have shown that cutting back on refined carbs can lower your triglyceride levels and reduce your risk of heart disease. Another problem with diets high in refined carbs is that they contribute to chronic inflammation in the body. Refined carbs can lead to the creation of harmful compounds called advanced glycation end products, AGEs, which trigger inflammation. This chronic inflammation is harmful because it weakens blood vessels and speeds up the buildup of plaque in the arteries, making heart disease more likely. Together, insulin resistance, high triglycerides, and inflammation create a dangerous situation that increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes. The good news is that you can protect your heart by making better food choices. Swapping refined carbs for complex carbs is an easy way to improve your heart health. Foods like oats, brown rice, quinoa, and sweet potatoes provide your body with energy without causing a big spike in your blood sugar. They also contain important nutrients that help keep your heart healthy. Food number 2, table salt. Table salt, commonly found in nearly every household, may seem harmless, but it poses serious threats to cardiovascular health. Sodium, the primary component of table salt, is essential for bodily functions such as fluid balance, muscle contractions, and nerve function. However, excessive consumption of sodium is a significant risk factor for developing hypertension or high blood pressure, which is a leading cause of heart disease and stroke. The modern diet, rich in processed and fast foods, often contains far more sodium than the body needs. This excess sodium disrupts the delicate balance of fluids in the body, leading to increased blood volume. When the volume of blood increases, the heart must work harder to pump it, placing added pressure on the arteries. Over time, this can damage the blood vessels, making them stiff and narrow, which leads to high blood pressure. Hypertension caused by excessive salt intake is sometimes referred to as the silent killer because it often develops with no obvious symptoms. Many people are unaware they have high blood pressure until it reaches dangerous levels, increasing the risk of heart attacks, heart failure, and strokes. The damage done to the arteries from hypertension makes it harder for the heart to pump blood efficiently. The heart may enlarge and weaken as a result, further exacerbating cardiovascular problems. Additionally, elevated blood pressure can contribute to the buildup of plaque in the arteries, a condition known as atherosclerosis, which restricts blood flow and can lead to coronary artery disease, another major cause of heart attacks. Beyond hypertension, excess sodium intake can also cause fluid retention, leading to swelling in the legs, ankles, and feet, a condition known as edema. This fluid retention forces the heart to work even harder, adding further strain on the cardiovascular system. Individuals with existing heart conditions, such as heart failure, are particularly vulnerable to the effects of excess sodium. In these cases, consuming too much salt can lead to worsening symptoms, increased hospitalizations, and even death. It's important to note that not all sodium comes from the salt shaker on your dining table. In fact, up to 75% of the sodium we consume is hidden in processed foods like canned soups, bread, condiments, and deli meats. This means that even if you're mindful of not adding extra salt to your meals, you could still be consuming dangerously high amounts of sodium. The World Health Organization, WHO, recommends that adults consume less than 5 grams of salt per day, about 1 teaspoon. But many people regularly exceed this limit without realizing it. In countries where processed and fast foods dominate the diet, average daily salt intake often far surpasses this recommendation, contributing to rising rates of hypertension and cardiovascular disease. Reducing sodium intake can have a profound impact on heart health. Studies have shown that lowering sodium consumption can lead to a significant decrease in blood pressure, which in turn reduces the risk of heart disease and stroke. The American Heart Association suggests simple strategies to cut down on sodium, such as reading food labels carefully, choosing fresh or frozen fruits and vegetables over canned or processed options, and cooking more meals at home using herbs and spices to flavor food instead of relying on salt. Food number 3, caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant that most people get from coffee, tea, energy drinks, and some soft drinks. It's a go-to pick-me-up for many, helping them stay awake and alert throughout the day, whether it's your morning coffee to start the day or an energy drink to push through the afternoon. Caffeine is widely consumed and loved for its ability to keep fatigue at bay. However, many don't realize that consuming too much caffeine can harm the heart. While moderate amounts are generally considered safe, taking in too much can lead to heart problems that develop over time. Caffeine works by stimulating the central nervous system. It blocks a chemical in the brain called adenosine, which helps us feel sleepy, and triggers the release of adrenaline, which makes the heart pump faster. This increases the heart rate, blood pressure, and energy levels. In small doses, these effects can be helpful, but if you regularly consume large amounts of caffeine, it can strain your heart. Research shows that consuming more than 400 milligrams of caffeine per day, about 4 cups of coffee, can raise the risk of heart problems like high blood pressure, abnormal heartbeats, and even irregular heart rhythms, known as arrhythmias. One immediate effect of too much caffeine is a faster heart rate, known as tachycardia. This rapid heartbeat can feel uncomfortable, and for people with existing heart conditions, it can trigger more serious issues like atrial fibrillation, a type of irregular heartbeat that can lead to blood clots, strokes, or even heart failure. Even people without heart problems can experience palpitations, where the heart skips or flutters. Though occasional palpitations are often harmless, they can become more serious if they happen regularly, potentially leading to long-term heart damage. Caffeine also impacts blood pressure by causing the blood vessels to tighten, making it harder for the heart to pump blood through the body. For people with normal blood pressure, this may only cause a temporary spike, but for those with high blood pressure, caffeine can make it much worse. High blood pressure, or hypertension, is a major risk factor for heart disease because it forces the heart to work harder than it should. This can lead to damaged blood vessels, a weakened heart, and increase the chances of heart attacks. In addition, caffeine can mess with your sleep, which has its own effects on heart health. Poor sleep is linked to conditions like high blood pressure, inflammation, and abnormal heart rhythms. Over time, lack of sleep can put a lot of strain on the heart, increasing the risk of heart disease and heart failure. Since caffeine can stay in your body for hours, drinking it late in the day can interfere with your sleep, making it harder to rest, and creating a cycle of poor sleep that can harm your heart. It's also important to remember that caffeine is often consumed in drinks that come with their own risks. Energy drinks, for example, are packed with sugar and artificial ingredients that can cause weight gain, diabetes, and metabolic syndrome, all of which increase the risk of heart disease. Sugary sodas and fancy coffee drinks can also contribute to these problems, adding extra strain to your cardiovascular system. To protect your heart, it's important to consume caffeine in moderation. Experts suggest keeping your intake below 400 milligrams per day, but even less is better for those sensitive to caffeine or who already have heart issues. By cutting back on caffeinated drinks and replacing them with healthier options, like herbal teas, water, or decaf drinks, you can reduce the risk of caffeine-related heart problems and give your heart a much-needed break from the constant stimulation. Food number 4, tobacco. Tobacco, whether it's in cigarettes, cigars, or chewing tobacco, is extremely harmful to your heart. Smoking is a major cause of heart disease, responsible for about 1/3 of all deaths from coronary heart disease around the world. The damage starts with the chemicals in cigarettes. Nicotine, which is what makes tobacco addictive, triggers the release of adrenaline, causing your heart rate and blood pressure to rise. This repeated increase in pressure puts a lot of stress on your heart and blood vessels. But nicotine isn't the only problem. Tobacco smoke contains over 7,000 chemicals, many of which are poisonous. These chemicals harm the lining of your blood vessels, leading to inflammation and the buildup of fatty deposits called plaque. This condition, known as atherosclerosis, narrows the arteries, reducing blood flow to the heart and increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Smoking also cuts down the amount of oxygen that reaches your heart. Carbon monoxide in smoke attaches to the hemoglobin in your blood more easily than oxygen does, meaning your blood carries less oxygen. This forces your heart to work harder to supply oxygen throughout your body. Over time, this extra strain on the heart can lead to ischemic heart disease, where the heart's blood supply is restricted, causing chest pain and raising the risk of heart attacks. Even if you don't smoke but are around people who do, you're still at risk. Secondhand smoke alone can increase the risk of heart disease by up to 30%, making it dangerous for non-smokers in smoky environments. The link between smoking and heart disease goes beyond just narrowing arteries. Smoking makes your blood more likely to clot because it makes blood platelets stickier. These clots can block arteries and lead to heart attacks. The chemicals in tobacco also cause chronic inflammation, which is another factor that harms your heart. Chronic inflammation weakens blood vessels over time and leads to more plaque in the arteries. Smoking also messes with cholesterol levels. It lowers the level of good cholesterol, HDL, while raising bad cholesterol, LDL, speeding up the process of atherosclerosis and increasing heart disease risk. The damage caused by smoking is serious, but quitting can greatly improve your heart health. Just 1 year after quitting, your risk of heart disease drops by half, and within 5 years, your risk can be close to that of someone who has never smoked. Your body starts to heal itself as soon as you stop smoking, and the benefits keep growing over time. Quitting should be a top priority for anyone concerned about their heart health. Also, staying away from places where people are smoking is crucial for protecting your heart. Number 5, stress, mental and physical. Stress, although not something you eat, is one of the most harmful factors for your heart. Its effects are deep and wide-ranging, impacting both the body and mind in ways that can seriously hurt your heart health. When you're stressed, whether mentally or physically, it can cause a lot of problems for your heart over time. Stress triggers the body's fight or flight response, which is a survival mechanism designed to help you deal with immediate dangers. This response leads to the release of hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones increase your heart rate, raise your blood pressure, and boost your blood sugar levels. This is useful for short bursts of stress, but when you're stressed all the time, the constant release of these hormones can lead to serious health problems. One major way chronic stress harms your heart is by raising blood pressure. When you're stressed all the time, your body stays in a heightened state of alert, which keeps your blood pressure high. High blood pressure, or hypertension, puts extra strain on your arteries, which can damage them over time. This damage makes it easier for fatty deposits to build up, leading to a condition called atherosclerosis. This can block blood flow and increase the risk of heart attacks or strokes. Stress can also affect the rhythm of your heart. Persistent stress might lead to irregular heartbeats or palpitations, which can sometimes turn into more serious heart rhythm problems. These irregularities can make heart disease worse and lead to other serious heart issues. Chronic stress also influences unhealthy lifestyle choices that harm heart health. People who are stressed often turn to unhealthy habits like smoking, drinking too much alcohol, or eating junk food. These habits further damage your heart. Smoking, for example, harms your blood vessels and increases the risk of heart disease. Drinking too much alcohol can raise blood pressure and cause heart rhythm problems. Stress can also lead to overeating or choosing foods high in fat and sugar, which can lead to weight gain and conditions like metabolic syndrome that are linked to heart disease. Mental health issues related to stress, such as anxiety and depression, also play a significant role. Studies have shown that people who suffer from chronic anxiety or depression are more likely to have heart problems. These mental health conditions can lead to poor lifestyle choices, affect how the body handles stress, and directly harm the heart by increasing inflammation and stress within the body. Managing stress is crucial for protecting your heart. Techniques like mindfulness, meditation, regular exercise, and doing activities you enjoy can help reduce stress. Having a supportive social network and seeking professional help when needed can also make a big difference. Simple practices like deep breathing exercises and muscle relaxation can help lower your stress levels and reduce some of its harmful effects. Here's the paragraph in simpler language. That's it. These 5 things, sugary foods, salt, caffeine, smoking, and stress, are quietly hurting your heart. But now that you know what to avoid, you can start taking care of your heart. If you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to the channel for more health tips. Your heart needs you.